Test. Hello, everybody. My name is Jessica Regan, and I am the co-founder and CEO of FoodMesh. We provide digital tools and services for businesses and governments seeking to address a major global crisis, food waste. As you know, one of the themes of Globe is to go beyond net zero. And to do so, we need viable solutions to help us get there, especially the big ticket items. Food waste, if you may not know, is one of the largest contributors to climate change, representing 8% of global greenhouse gases and $10 billion of economic lost revenue each year. Think about that for a moment. Think about all the farmers and businesses that put in all the hard work, energy, food miles for a commodity that effectively goes unused. And we have hundreds of thousands of data points to suggest that over 40% of that food that ends up in our waste streams is perfectly edible and rescuable, but is discarded because it's easier and cheaper to discard it than it is to find new alternative markets. Meanwhile, we have 1 in 8 Canadian families that are suffering from food insecurity, meaning they lack predictable and safe access to safe and nutritious food. There is something fundamentally wrong with this equation. We do not have a food shortage problem. We have a connection problem when things don't go to plan. And so we started our work at FoodMesh to help bridge that disconnect and create a digital network to help connect demand with supply when things don't go as planned. And to do so, we're building a platform and a digital ecosystem to connect all stakeholders along the supply chain to help find alternative markets according to best and highest end use, helping connect wholesalers and retailers sell or donate their food to new markets such as upcyclers or charities or farmers and so forth, because food is not waste. Up until 2020, our work had been relatively local and modest, but COVID had changed everything. We saw volatility in the supply chain not witnessed before. Think of the food manufacturers that were growing and packaging food for the food service industry and had steady supply of buyers. Suddenly, their demand vanished when the industry effectively shut down. One example that we received was a call from a milk producer that had 48 pallets of perfectly fine milk, but gave us 72 hours to find a home before it was going to be destroyed. Luckily, we were able to connect that milk with a few dozen charities across the province, but it's a very time-consuming and manual process. And we knew that if we were going to respond to the task at hand, we really needed to invest in our systems. So we reached out to the supercluster, and thanks to their support, we were able to help leverage and scale our existing software and scale it to serve as an emergency food distribution network in times of emergencies, and to help businesses in our communities that are most negatively impacted by the COVID pandemic. Excuse me. In the true supercluster spirit, we pulled together a unique consortium of food industry, stakeholders across the food industry, the tech community, the food banks, the United Way, and municipalities to come together and brainstorm how we can unlock this avoidable problem. Because food is not waste. Waste only exists when there's no end user. And so we knew that we needed to create a network, and it could not be done together or alone. And so we pulled together industry providers, or solution providers, and also Salesforce to help us with align our tech stack and integrate our databases into one CRM. On top of that, we built a publicly accessible community portal for charities and farmers and businesses to come together and be able to connect their surplus food with those who need it. From there, we also built an MVP portal for municipalities to encourage local food sharing networks within their jurisdictions. We continue to invest also in our B2B wholesale marketplace that allows the exchange of ad hoc surplus to sell or donate to allow for cost recovery for our wholesalers. And to support our hunger relief organizations that were seeing a surge of demand from the COVID pandemic, we partnered with BC Food Banks and piloted an emergency food purchasing program that allowed their BC chapters to access wholesalers that were too problematic and administratively burdensome. So we helped simplify that process and then built the playbook and the blueprints to hand over to them to roll it out provincially. But where we saw the most impact was in our retail food recovery program. And this is where we partnered with companies like Save On Food, where we were allowed to help connect participating grocery stores with a local network of pre-vetted charities and farmers to help find outlets for that unsaleable food, but perfectly edible food, and connect them to the charities in their local communities. And thanks to the digital transformation and helping move this industry onto the digital ecosystem, we've been able to collect verifiable data to help put a spotlight and shed a light onto the problem at hand so that we can make better choices upstream. Thanks to the supercluster, we've been able to yield some impressive results. It's been a busy 20 months, and to date, we've been able to scale our impact by 300% across 4 provinces. We've been able to increase our charity revenue stream to $35,000 per month. We've doubled our team and created 48 indirect jobs to our charity implementation partners. We've helped avert 3 million metric tons of CO2, which is the equivalent of 6,500 cars off the road each year. And finally, we've been able to rescue almost over 16 million meals worth of food, perfectly good food that was destined for waste streams, to communities who needed it most, to the tune of 800,000 meals every single month. So I just wanted to say a huge thank you to the supercluster for believing in this work and believing in us. And now that we've got the tools and systems in place, we're better positioned to help businesses that want to give food a second chance, to reduce waste, feed more, and help reach our net zero. Thank you very much. Over to you, Sue.